Hey friends, it's Gloria and welcome back to another video. Today I was called in last minute to go work a full shift at the library, which hasn't happened in a bit. And as I started my shift and I was checking in books, I was inspired to do a second installment where library returns choose what I read next. Basically the books that patrons at my local library where I work, the books that they're returning inspire me to pick up my next read. I had a lot of fun doing this kind of theme video in July and a lot of you seem to like it as well, and I don't get to work a full shift at the library very often where I can check the book drop, and so I'll show you all of the clips of all of the books that I checked in throughout the day when I could, when it was my turn to check in. And I gave thumbs up for books that I really liked and would recommend, thumbs down for some that didn't work for me, and the middle of the road books that I thought were okay. And I haven't looked back at the footage. I'm gonna look through it to see what stands out to me of what I want to pick up next. Before I do that and talk to you about what I'm gonna read for this video, I scored the lottery. This is a little bit of a side tangent, but I felt very serendipitous that I was called in to work at the library today because the day before, someone probably donated like 100 picture books or board books to the library for the Friends sale section, and all those books go up for 50 cents. Sometimes there are 10-cent sales, and I just scored the lottery because I basically got like first access to purchasing these books, which was so fun because I love buying books for my son. He loves reading and I love growing our collection, and just getting board books is really fun. And board books cost, you know, anywhere between like $8 and $10, sometimes $8 and $15, and I have really never bought new ones before. I've been gifted some, and then I only buy ones at the library because kids grow fast, and once they don't care about that book anymore, they've grown out of that age of books, specifically board books, they get donated and I get to buy a lot of them. So I scored for $10. I bought 20 board books, and I don't need to show you all of them or go into too much depth, but the two that I'm so excited about are these polka dot books that are huge. They're by Melissa and Doug, but your child gets to poke all the little things and they learn to count. And this one is all about the farm, and Old MacDonald had a farm, and they get to, you know, click the little buttons, which is very satisfying. It's kind of like a bubble wrap kind of thing, a farm one and an ocean animal one. So that was like the biggest score of the bunch. I then got a huge little stack of Christmas board books, which I thought was really fun because it's Christmas time now. I love to change out books on his little shelf, and my goal, he's a little young this year, so I didn't do it this year, but I want to do a Christmas book advent next year and years ahead, which is basically I wrap, you know, 25 Christmas books and we put them in a basket, and he gets to pick out a number and read a book every morning or every evening or during the Christmas season. And I think that it would be really fun. So I have like a nice little selection of board books for next year as well. And I already have kind of a growing stack of some picture books that I found. And I thought this was another beautiful little board book where they learn their words, and it had fun little pictures in there. Jimmy Fallon's 2 books, Mama and Dada, little book on planets that has rings, and then Blue's Clues like color flippy book. All the board books these days are so tactile. Like every single new book that comes into the library, it's all very tactile, which I think is probably a good thing for little kids. I know they can learn by all types of sensory, not just seeing but also feeling, which is fun. So yeah, I just scored the lottery. I'm like, that just made my day, and I felt so like, I feel like I was supposed to work today. Like it just, I felt it in my bones. So that's really fun. And then for myself, I wasn't really drawn to this book, but I think that this, I believe UK edition of this book is a lot prettier. The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. I think several people that I've seen read this book really like it. I think give it like 4 stars. It is a World War II dual timeline novel, I believe, and I'm not entirely sure about the details, but I know people like it, so I think it'll be an enjoyable read. And I just thought this cover particularly was really pretty, and I do want to give this author another try. I read the Once Upon a Wardrobe, which I think a lot of people are actually reading right now because it has a snowy cover, but I didn't really care about that one. I mean, it was fine. It was a fine book. It was like a girl talking to C.S. Lewis to learn how he wrote Narnia and what inspired him. And I just kind of thought it was fine. I know people really love it. I thought it was okay. But I want to give this author another go, and yeah, it's a pretty book. So we'll see when I get to it. I don't want to include this though as my next pick. Like this isn't part of the project of library returns inspiring me. This was just in the sale section and I wanted to buy it. Yeah, Pokey the horsies. Poke, poke. Poke. Yay, poke. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what about down this page? The goats. Can you poke the goats? Poke. And the kitties. Meow. Yeah, and that one. Poke. And the doggies. Poke. Poke. And then the last one. The last one is a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. You poke it? Yay! All done. All done. Yeah, all done. Yeah, you're saying hi. Say hi to the camera. Say hi. So now let's talk about what I'm gonna read in this vlog and what book I should pick up next. Some disclaimers: our library is primarily kids returns. Like, it's almost all picture books and J fiction and graphic novels and stuff. We have so many kids that visit our local library, so we get a lot of picture books. Nothing wrong with that. I even picked up a picture book and I will read it. I actually have a whole wintry picture book project that I'm doing, and I thought this one was cute before morning, so I will read through that one. But I want to pick an adult novel or nonfiction for this video. I think I was excited the last time I did this because I stumbled upon 2 books that were already on my radar, or a book that I definitely wanted to read and was on my radar, and then an author that I wanted to try, and I was really into the midwife books at the moment. And so I was excited by my picks. This time I'm a little like underwhelmed by my options and by what was returned, but we're doing it anyways. So let's go through the books that at least I'm interested in, and we'll see what gets read. So the first one that came up was Bad Therapy: Why the Kids Aren't All Right. That is the only book that is actively on my want to read list that I do plan on reading. It is I don't think it's a parenting book. It's kind of like parenting psychology, but it's by Abigail Schreier, I think. She wrote this book about how the kids are over therapized and they are ruminating, and just like the mental health crisis that's going on with teens. I've heard wonderful things about this book and this author. I actually listened to a podcast with her as a guest speaker, and that's why originally this book came on my radar, and it sounds super interesting. So that one, maybe. The next one that kind of came up is the Jane Austen Project, which intrigued me because I was like, oh, a Jane Austen book, retelling of sorts. Then I looked in Goodreads, and Christopher Books and Jams gave it 2 stars. It's like a Jane Austen sci-fi. I think there's some time travel, and it just seems maybe a little not great execution of that kind of premise of like Jane Austen and people traveling to her time, or someone from her time traveling to the future. And I was like, I don't really want to read that at the moment. And then I came across We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. His book All the Colors of the Dark is getting all the rage this year, which is why it's on my radar, because I'm feeling FOMO. Like, I feel like I want to read it. I actually didn't find a clip, but that book also came through check-ins when somebody else was checking in. I saw it. So potentially We Begin at the End or All the Colors of the Dark, depending on what I can get my hands on first of the audiobook. Both those books had holds and went away, so I couldn't take them home. All of these books, actually, besides Jane Austen and one more that I'll mention in a second, all had holds and had to go away, so I couldn't get the book physically with me, but I potentially have access to them as Libby listens. Then another popular author this year, and I really liked God of the Woods. Liz Moore's previous book, The Long Bright River, came through. That one's on my radar only because of how much I enjoyed God of the Woods. Originally, when I heard Long Bright River and people talk about it, I think it'd be a little bit too dark and gritty for me. It's like a police procedural. I think it's a woman cop that's on drugs, or her sister's on drugs, and she's uncovering some mystery. Kind of like dark, gritty, like drug books aren't really my vibe, but I was so pleasantly surprised with God of the Woods that I want to give other books of hers a try, so potentially. Then The Small and the Mighty is a popular nonfiction that I'm hearing great things about, but I'm kind of not in the mood to read that, so that one, we'll see, but probably not. And then one I think I will 100% commit to, at least I will read in this video, is a children's book, but I was so sad by the end of my options that I was like, I have to take something home, and I couldn't take any of them home. So The Wild Robot by Peter Brown is super hype and popular right now because the movie came out this year, and this is a trilogy, a middle grade trilogy about a robot stuck on an island, and it's supposed to be heartwarming and wonderful and sweet, maybe like WALL-E type of thing. I don't know, we'll see if my heartstrings are pulled like many other people's are, but I think I'll definitely read this in this video, and then I hope to pick up, honestly, probably either Bad Therapy or All the Colors of the Dark. I feel like those are my top choices if I can get my hands on them. I'll check in when I'm picking up a book. So I'm just checking in. I think it's been about a week since I filmed the initial clips of working at the library, and I have since worked at the library one more time and didn't really see anything new come in from the book drop, except for All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. The Lucky Day one came in, and I read the first, well, I listened to the first 5% of the audiobook, and maybe this is more of a need to read in print because I was not drawn in at all. Like, absolutely not interested in the storyline. I get the kind of pull of like this missing child and an abduction in a small town, but I really wasn't drawn into his writing style, and the way that he was describing characters in the town was really strange to me, and it just wasn't capturing my attention or really making any sense. It was just really hard for me to get a sense of the town and the atmosphere and like the different characters that he was introducing in the opening chapters. I think I got up to chapter like 15. They're super short chapters. They're like a page or two. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know if this is like a hard DNF, like I'll never pick this book up again because of the buzz. I might. And if I'm ever in the mood for like maybe a slow mystery, I might, but I just wasn't feeling it right now. And so I decided to pick up my other option at the moment was Long Bright River by Liz Moore. So she wrote God of the Woods, which is the big book of the year that everyone loves. It wasn't quite 5 stars, but it was really close. I think it was 4.25 or 4.5 for me. Like, I'm still thinking about it. It's definitely going to be on my top books of the year list. It was super interesting. It was a great read. I've heard wonderful things about her other books too. This one I think came out a few years back and I've heard several people really like it. I don't know if it's as good as God of the Woods, but it's another kind of slow family mystery, maybe lots of drama. Maybe like the ending doesn't, like, it's more about the journey and the time there. And we have 2 sisters. One is a well-behaved police officer and one is a drug addict. And that like juxtaposition of being in this small town in, I think, Philadelphia area. And so far in the opening chapters, it's kind of what we learned is that she's a police officer. She has a sister who's a drug addict, and we're getting jump backs into the past of different moments from their childhood and how kind of they turned out to be who they are in the present day. And I think there's more like murders that are gonna happen in this town. I don't know, I'm intrigued. It's also a little bit dark and sad and depressing, if I'm honest, that I'm reading right now, even though I don't mind it dark, but I'm curious if there's any kind of hope or goodness that will come out, or a character that we can like really care about. I like the main character so far, but I just don't know how I feel about how everything's gonna go down. It's reminded me a little bit of Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I never know how to say her name. And I really hated that book. And I hope it doesn't get as dark as that. That was just like a gross book to me. I hated it. I don't want it to get all icky. It doesn't feel as captivating to me so far as God of the Woods, but we'll see. I guess I don't know why I'm comparing those two, just because maybe they're the same author. So that's gonna be an easy comparison. So far, that's the way I'm going. My Christmas tree's still up. I don't know when this vlog's gonna go. It might be a little bit of a while. Probably be into January, unless I read this book really quick. But it's currently Christmas Eve, and we just celebrated with some family, and we're gone all day, and I'm home. I'm gonna put away all the new presents and all the things, and I'm gonna pop in an audiobook and listen to more of Long Bright River. Tell me what you would pick. I'll say it at the end of the video, but from all of that footage that was at the library, what would you have picked for yourself or for me to read? That was my favorite part of the last time I did this video, is just to see what other people would have read, because that's fun. Okay, well, happy 12 days of Christmas to those that continue on in Christmas traditions after December 25th, or Happy New Year, or Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, or whatever. I'm hoping everyone has had a wonderful holiday season. The lighting, my goodness. Okay, so it's been a while since my last clip. I got unexpectedly terribly sick on Christmas Day, and I got super sick, and then my voice was gone. It is now the 2nd of January, and so it's been over a week, and my voice is finally coming back, but I obviously still sound quite hoarse, which is such a bummer, because I had so many fun ideas for videos to plan, and I have a lot of videos to catch up on, like favorite books of the year and December wrap up and all the things. But I want to finish this vlog out because I did read a book and I want to talk about it. And I also wanted to finish up some Christmassy things. Not that everyone cares, but I wanted to talk about it and just remember for myself anyways, because I got some fun little bookish things and I thought I could squeeze it into this vlog. So it's brief, but I want to mention some things that I got that I'm super excited about. So I got a Book Lovers Christmas puzzle. It is a 1,000-piece puzzle from the Lawrence King Company, and my sister sent me this, and it has a nod to a bunch of different Christmassy literature books, which, if I'm honest, I'm not familiar because I don't love Christmas, so I don't read like all the Christmassy books, but I did read Little Women and I love that. But this has scenes from A Christmas Carol, The Elves and the Shoemaker, A Little Women, The Fir Tree, The Pickwick Papers, The Snow Queen, The Nutcracker, A Visit from St. Nicholas, The Gift of the Magi, and Anne of Green Gables. So I'm familiar with 2 of them. Well, I know some of them, but this was a fun little Christmassy puzzle that I worked on already and did really super high quality pieces. So would recommend. I've never heard of Lawrence King, but this was a really fun gift to receive and would recommend adding it to your list. Then I got a few books. The 2 really precious ones is from my mother-in-law, because she went on a trip to Portugal and she visited Livraria Lello, which is the world's most beautiful bookshop. I'll insert a picture here, not her picture, just a picture from the internet. And I think it has something to do with Harry Potter too, because when I googled how to pronounce it, Harry Potter kept popping up. So I don't know if like J.K. Rowling was inspired by this bookshop or anything, I don't know, but definitely on my to visit list. I'm sure all the traveling book lovers out there are aware of it, but she got me this little copy of Pride and Prejudice that's specific to this bookshop is this cute, teeny tiny little pocket edition, gold foiling, a little bookmark, and also the most beautiful stories of Beatrix Potter, specifically for Finn, but also for me to read to him one day. And it does have little teeny tiny illustrations in here. Super cute. So these are two little fun classics. I love how tiny they are. These remind me of little editions of classics that some booktubers collect that are all like blue. They're all like the same font, but they're that teeny tiny size. Anyways, very fun. We'll add them to my classics shelf. I got 2 other books for my wish list. I got A Ukrainian Christmas, and this is all about the Christmas traditions in the Ukrainian culture, which I'm half Ukrainian, half Russian. I would love to just be more in tune with my heritage and my roots. I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas. I went to a weird cult church and we didn't do Christmas at home, but I would love to know how Christmas was in Ukraine over the years. And it's just one of those beautiful books, even for like decoration around Christmas time. Would love to display this for future Christmases. And I got this fun sized, it's also like very long compared to like a standard book, like 2 inches longer. A Honeybee Heart Has 5 Openings, A Year of Keeping Bees by Helen Ukes. This will be added to my nonfiction bee shelf, which I collect bee books. If you don't know, I'll link videos up above and down below of all of the videos that I've made in the past few years about reading bee books and collecting them, because my dad is a beekeeper and I work for the family business. But this is a memoir about keeping bees. There's a few of them at this point that I've read and really enjoyed, and a few that I still have yet to read, and we'll add this to my shelves. I think this is such a cool cover and a fun title, so I'm excited to read this memoir and see how it goes. And then, oh gosh, my voice is losing. I wanted to mention a couple other non-bookish fun things I got for Christmas. I got this Dime holiday hydration set. It's like a tester set. There's a serum, a day cream, and a night cream, and I am a sucker for skincare. I know there's skincare that's like absolutely atrociously expensive. That's dumb, but I love spending money on skincare. Even though I have horrendous skin, my skin is really bad. It has horrible eczema. It's super dry. I have a hard time finding good products for it, but I love skincare, and I totally, if I had millions of dollars, would spend my money on skincare. Anyways, I've heard great things about Dime. Dime Beauty. It's more on the natural end of things. If I'm honest, it was just influenced by influencers, so I wanted to try it, and this was on my Christmas list and I got it, so I will definitely be trying this in the new year. Here's hoping my skin likes it. Another thing about me is that I do love a coffee now and again. I love a latte when I'm like going out for a coffee shop date, which happens very rarely these days. But at home, we don't have coffee. Like my husband and I don't drink coffee at home. We don't have a coffee machine. We don't have coffee beans. If guests come over and want coffee, you're out of luck. I have absolutely no way to do that for you. But I'm a big tea drinker. We have all kinds of tea, a big tea drawer, and I drink tea every day. And every single morning I have black tea for the most part. Unless I'm sick, then I'm having some kind of herbal concoction. But I had black tea on my Christmas list that I wanted some because I drink so much of it, and I got 3 different boxes of black tea that I'm excited for. The one I'm most excited for is Fortnum & Mason, because this is a British brand, and even when I was in the UK, I don't think I tried Fortnum & Mason, but I'm excited to try a British UK black tea for breakfast. And then Smith Tea Maker is a Portland tea brand, and British Brunch and Portland Breakfast, I'm familiar with these. I know they're delicious. These are really good teas and a wonderful tea brand from Portland, so that's fun. And then speaking of Portland, 2 more very appropriately Portland, Oregon weather specific items that I've used one and loved. But one is the Portland Gear backpack. I was in need of a new backpack, and I love that this one opens up like a box, and it's fully waterproof, water resistant, which is helpful with how much it rains here. And it has really nice pockets. It just feels really good, and I went for the all black one. But I'm in need of a backpack. I've had my Fjall Raven backpack that has traveled the world, and it has been through it. I've had it for over 10 years, and it's rough. So it's in rough condition. It's ready to be retired. When we travel, it's like my go-to backpack for the plane, and I really need a new one. And now that we have a kid, I have my diaper bag, and it's a backpack, and it's like the super fancy one, Dagny Rover one, and I really don't like it. So I would much rather use this and just have a new travel backpack, and it has fun little compartments and stuff too. So this is the Portland Gear brand, and would recommend if you're interested in like a good waterproof backpack for those of you that are. I don't know. And also I needed new little rain boots. I had some cheapo ones that were falling apart, and I wanted ones that were warm and insulated inside, because rain boots are great, but they make your feet freeze if there's no coating on the inside, even though I wear very thick socks. But these are from Boggs Bloom, specifically the Amanda Chelsea to put, and I love them. I've been wearing them pretty much every single day since Christmas. These are my go-to every single day shoes, basically from November until May or June of Oregon weather. We'll be wearing them all day every day, and they are comfortable and cozy and keep my feet warm even when it's pouring rain out. So those are some Christmassy fun gifts that I got. Let me know, what was your favorite Christmas gift that you received and also that you gave? I am not a good gift giver or receiver for that matter. Like gift giving is not my love language or my husband's love language. Sometimes we're just like too cheap to give gifts. We'd rather spend money on an experience, and that's kind of like our go-to. If it's an anniversary or birthday or Christmas, we're just like, we're gonna spend money on like a big item or a big event or a big thing or trip or something, which I know a lot of people do and love. I'm not good at like the little things that are meaningful and also really fun sometimes, but I do love hearing about what people get and I love seeing it. So it adds to my future gift list. I try to keep a notes app updated with things that I would love to receive or one day give as well. So let's talk about Long Bright River. I just want to wrap up this video, so I'm not going to read Wild Robot. I mean, I will read it, but not in this video. I read Long Bright River by Liz Moore. I read God of the Woods earlier this year. I think I already talked about this, really enjoyed it. Curious about this book. It was fine. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It just really didn't do anything for me, and I don't think it's just because I was sick when I read the majority of it or finished it. It just was very dark and sad and depressing, which I kind of knew that going in, but I think I was expecting a little bit more lightness, and it never really got lighter, and it wasn't really compelling mystery. Like when everything was revealed in the end, it was just fine. I mean, ultimately this is a book about police corruption and drug use and, you know, family secrets, like that kind of thing. I don't think I love a police corruption story. Like, it's just not doing it for me, and this book is very prevalent on that theme. You know, there are bad, evil cops doing stupid stuff out there, and there's one good person that's on the outskirts trying to unveil the plot and uncover the mystery, and I didn't really care about her as a character. I didn't connect with her even at the mom part of the story because she has a son. I don't know, I just had like a disconnect from her as a character, and I don't think it was just me. Like, some people really love this book, but a lot of people thought it was also okay. I think The God of the Woods is a much stronger novel by Liz Moore. I'm not totally writing her off to try more of her backlist books, but I think I'd rather just wait to see what she comes out with next. So that was my experience. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just fine. You know, my average typical rating with most books was like 3 stars. I did read a book for this vlog, and I do want to read The Wild Robot, but I want to wrap this up and I'll read it eventually. So yeah, maybe not as exciting as the previous library vlog, but I will definitely be working at the library more often, and I hope to have more of these videos because I just think it's so fun. I get so excited when I work a shift at the library and people start returning books, and I'm like, ooh, would I read that one? Would I read that one? Oh, I've never heard of that one. Oh, that one has a nice cover. And I love playing that game in my mind. And so I always think, oh, this would be really fun to film and like actually make a TBR out of it. Perhaps I'll do it again if you guys like it. When I'm not so sick, I'll actually be more successful with my picks and also with my reading. So that wraps it up. Thank you so much for spending some time today with me, for watching. So like I said earlier, what book would you pick from the library check-ins? Let me know. And yeah, Christmas gifts received and also gave. I would love to know. Always love chatting with you guys down below, and I will see you guys in another book video soon. Bye.